Hello, we're live.
Damn it!
No, you miss it. You missed it this week. Hey, happy Tuesday. Welcome to another episode of Delve Requisite right here on Proficiency Bonus. This week with Magic Boys. Here we are. We're all Magic Boys, even Brittany.
No.
Brittany's a Magic Boy this week.
Transform.
Honorary Magic Boy.
Honorary Magic
Welcome
Boy.
to the club.
That doesn't make sense to anybody who wasn't having our off-camera conversation. Anyway, this week, as all weeks, this episode is brought to you by Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle. You get a link to those fine sponsors and check out their websites by typing !Little Dragon or !CCG in chat at any point during the stream. I encourage you to check out their fine wares. If you do buy something from Little Dragon Corp, like perhaps some dice, you can use our code BONUS at checkout for 15% off your order. So, let's jump into things. You guys are in the city of Zresa, in the Kingdom of Errant, the southern portion of the continent of Orahol. You arrived here through sort of unconventional means. In your escape from the Estelgath, I just realized Adam's Discord name tag is on fully, just in the corner of his player screen. Everybody knows that his name is Adam and the character he plays is Aelar. No!
Oh, no. Whatever shall I do?
Oh, because, you're the one that's... Yeah.
Huh?
No, Oz and Aelar are both right aligned. That's weird.
Zooming in. Oh, you're encroaching on my space!
No!
Stay away from my personal space.
It is this way.
Okay. Alright, now it's gone. Anyway, we returned to our regularly scheduled programming of telling you about what happened last time. You escaped from the Estelgath with Lady Eniana Viren, otherwise known as Yegraine, one of the 5 generals of the Brotherhood of Artanis, who had been imprisoned there after trying to leave the Brotherhood's ranks, having a change of heart about the machinations that they have going on. Rana, a member of Rogers and the Boys, a fellow relic hunting group that you have had run-ins with over the years, has had a history with the Estelgath that made her uniquely poised to get you guys in and out. After killing a decoy, a simulacrum body of another one of the Brotherhood's generals, one Pendragon, you escaped with Lady Viren, with Rogers, and with Rana through a sort of a portal in a hollow of a tree that Rana was able to tear open to lead you back to the regular material plane where you all exist. However, instead of coming out where you had anticipated, back near where you went into the Estelgath, you came out in a very special chamber deep within the bowels of the city of Zresa, a chamber where the speaker of the Free Peoples, Zrala, communes with the very spirit of the planet Egeria. You got attacked by some wild dogs, and
Time out.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Please stand by.
So a dog walks into a bar.
Oh, you know what?
It starts yowling because it bumped its head.
Maybe. I don't know why I imagined Griff in a chef's hat and apron, like the reason he was making sad noises because he burned himself trying to cook cookies.
He's Kirby Chef. You know, he just goes ting ting.
Ting ting. Certainly a thought for you to have.
It's of all
I'm
the
proud
thoughts
of
I've had, it's one of them.
I'm proud of you.
that's true.
Oh,
My wife just came home, so the dogs were singing the song of their people to her. So, I don't know, where did I leave off? You're in Zresa. You spoke with Zrala. Zrala told you essentially the history of Egeria, as seen through the eyes of the planet itself. You sort of got a crash course in the cosmology of the planes of existence, and learned of the Dawn War between the gods and the primordials and the titans. You learned of the age, the rise of the mortal age, and you learned of a desperate calamity that nearly destroyed all of Egeria. And through Lady Viren, you have learned that calamity was brought on by the very original Brotherhood of Artanis, the first Artanis, and that calamity was actually Artanis failing in what he had been trying to do. And since then, in the myriad of years that has passed, the Brotherhood in its various forms have been trying to recreate and finish Artanis' original work. Lady Viren has told you that they think they will bring about utopia through this work that they are doing. But she, finding the truth, what caused her to have a turn of heart, knows that all they will bring is apocalypse if they are allowed to succeed. You know that the Brotherhood of Artanis has plans that involve an orb that has the power to control a red dragon, which is in their hands via one of their agents, and currently making its way across Egeria towards, you believe, the Star Spire in Neveria, as well as a conduit, a living individual capable of being imbued with enough power and channel that power to perform some sort of ritual. You know that these two things are the sort of the key that will bring the Brotherhood of Artanis to their end game. And at the moment, you know that the key for yourselves to understanding what they are doing and perhaps how to stop them lies with a chronomancy device, which is currently in Shivas and Voria, the capital city of the Ignean Empire, apparently in the possession of the Emperor of the Ignean Empire. We can, why don't we pick up right where we left off last week? You guys are in you're still in that chamber, deep beneath the speaker's atrium, the chamber of the long memory, as you have been told it is. And I think when we last left off, Lady Viren said to you, you're gonna have to get to Shivas and Voria, and get this thing out of the possession of Emperor Aranon Telthalar. And that is where we left off. So all of you are in this chamber. Rogers and Rana are in this chamber. Lady Viren is there, and Zrala is there.
Okay. So big chronomancy device, hourglass, fancy gears, about yay tall, yay wide, very delicate.
She says, no. She says, I know of what you speak. That is a component, the piece that is the key to all of this. The piece which luckily is much more portable, that you would need to retrieve, is only about, and she kind of holds her hands yay width apart. It is a somewhat rectangular box, about the size of a briefcase.
Is there anything else that we need to get from there?
She says the device is the device works by tapping into call it genetic memory. Material, blood, usually, most commonly. The Empire does have has rediscovered a means of crystallizing actual memory, but under normal circumstances, a crystalline structure is created and inserted into the device, which will allow a user or users to witness events from a time long past as they were recorded. She says there are a number in the possession of the Brotherhood which they have been using to access information from 10,000 years ago, information left behind by the original Artanis and others since, that is allowing them to follow the necessary steps. She points Walter at you, and she says, I believe your condition is likely caused by contact with a corrupted version of a precursor to this device. There are a number of them that the Brotherhood is aware of throughout the world.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the before. I think probably before the rings. Nice place. Didn't recognize anything.
Just the device. Nothing else. We don't have to go back there. We don't have to go to any other near nigh impregnable, difficult to escape. Nothing else. Aelar's getting closer and closer to Yegraine until he's almost nose to nose with her. Nothing else?
I'd grab him by his collar and just yank him back.
She kind of like looks to you as interested. She gives you a nod, like thank you, but it's okay.
Aelar will very carefully start plucking your fingers off of his collar.
She says, nothing else. To my knowledge, she placates. She says, the device and any, she holds up a hand about like this. She says, narrow crystalline structures about this long.
Walter's gonna pull out the one he has for his little spell stone and like see if it's similar.
Um,
The thing that I got from the elevator in the Scarred Lands.
No. I mean, it's like a crystalline. She kind of points to that. She says, they're narrower than that. Only, she says, imagine a stick of incense, perhaps. Only a quarter of an inch around, and about this long. You'll likely find a number of them with the device. Take them. They will allow you to see the things that the Brotherhood has seen. She says, there are other versions of the past, things that I came to know. I did my best to make sure they did not fall into the Brotherhood's hands once I was captured. I will try to make arrangements to have them recovered.
How long have they had this box? Is this what you always worked with? You never told me.
She shakes her head. She says, the box was only recovered a few years ago. She says, prior to this, they had been working with obelisks, much more similar to what your companion, Mr. Gray, encountered. The process was less reliable and came at a significantly greater hazard to the, let us say, health and well-being of those exposed to them.
Well, no time like the present, I guess.
Zrala, who has been taking this in, says, as it so happens, the Verdant Wild beneath, or beneath is not the right word, but the Verdant Wild in the area, in the material plane where the Ignean Empire has their capital, lives still. It is one of a number of pockets across the continent that is still surviving. In most cases, it is because there is some source of energy coming from the original light of creation strong enough still to sustain the Verdant Wild. It can be a wellspring of magic, a particularly powerful ley line. In some cases, a creature of strong enough magical power is able to sustain Verdant Wild in its presence. I do not know what it is that sustains the Verdant Wild counterpart to Shivas Invaria, but it is alive, and since it is alive, I can send you from here directly there. Distance is, I will not say immaterial, but distance is not the same when you are dealing with the Verdant Wild. A journey that might take you several months overland in even the fastest of vessels in our world, you can complete in, I will have to do some of the calculations, but likely hours alone.
Before that, lady speaker, could you retrieve our companion Carlisle? If we're going to be making a heist of the Imperial Palace, we're gonna need our stuff.
She says, I can. It will take me a little bit of time to prepare the passage in any event. I will, you say your friend is in the overland somewhere in the vicinity of the Estelgath prison. She kind of turns and a section of wall of roots rearranges itself and makes what you recognize as a map of Ageria. She points to a spot that is has a sort of mountain formation of a knotty root comes up that you recognize as the geographical region of the Estelgath. And she says the closest pocket of still surviving Verdant Wild is here, and she gestures to a location in the woods, kind of where Carlisle is hanging out. Maybe a day's journey through the forest, to the north. She says it is a very small clearing. The essence of an ancient tree spirit still inhabits the area and sustains this small pocket of life. Nothing more than a stepping stone in a otherwise vast ocean of dead and Verdant Wild. In dire situation, I can open a path through the no longer living portions of the Verdant Wild, but she gestures over towards where you guys came in, and you're reminded of the thing that almost crawled in after you. And she says, it is not advisable. It is generally safer to get him there. If you are able to get a message to him, I can retrieve him from there.
I just nod and will use a higher spell slot to send
Okay.
Carlisle. Oh.
She says, I will retrieve him tomorrow if that is enough time for him to reach this location. She says perhaps another 2 days after that, and I should be prepared to send you to Shiva Sinvaria.
I will.
Okay, that'll give us a amount of time to update the folks in Terra Libra once we have the mirror back.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do sending to Carlisle, and I tell him where to go and ask him how long he thinks it'll take him to get there, so I can relay that to her, so she can plot accordingly for timing. And I explain, this is who you'll look for. She's friendly.
Okay, so you give him a quick rundown with him as ascending. You just
yeah.
you just get back a pretty to the point what's Carlisle's? I think Carlisle is kind of he's one of these. You get back I understand.
That's him.
I can be there midday tomorrow if I'm not waylaid. I'll be ready. Glad everyone made it out.
I tell her midday tomorrow for him if he's not held up in any way, and
she nods. She says, until such a time you are obviously guests within the city, I can arrange quarters for all of you to stay in one of the neighborhoods here where you will be able to rest. I can assure that any sustenance that you require can be provided for you. You shall want for nothing while you are in the city. I encourage you to take the time to recuperate before flinging yourself headlong into the next fire.
Yeah, we're used to it.
Thank you, Lady Speaker.
She nods. She says, is there anything else that you require before I see you out of the speaker's atrium?
It's not a now thing, but if there's any information you have on the light or shadow entities, I'd like to find anything I can about either.
You will have to be more specific. Light or shadow entities, what do you mean?
Gods, I suppose.
Oh.
Those of the light or of the shadow.
If it is information about the gods that you seek, I suggest that you visit the Terrace of the Sun while you're in the city. It is there that the various tribes of Errant are free to set up places of worship for their assorted gods. You will, I think, find no place in Nigeria with such a bountiful selection of deities with which to choose from than the Terrace of the Sun.
Thank you.
She says, perhaps I will arrange for a guide that can answer questions about the city and help you find things while you are here.
Acceptable.
It would be appreciated.
She says, very well. Then let us depart from the chamber, and I will make those arrangements.
Yes, let us depart.
We depart. So you guys head up around that long spiral natural root formation staircase that leads you up out of the Chamber of the Long Memory, into that huge open interior domed atrium of the speaker's atrium. And after you get back topside, Zrala approaches one of the guards again and says something quietly to him, and he gives a nod and moves off towards what you see is an arched hollow inside this dome that leads into interior corridors and things that are all probably spider webbed throughout this structure. After a few minutes, that guard returns. He has a who does he have with him? Let's see what kind of NPC we got.
Michelle and the women. As we have, like, what is it, Roger and the boys?
Rogers and the boys, Michelle and the women.
Michelle is the female equivalent of Rogers.
Kathy and the gals.
I don't know. Kathy and the gals? Yeah, sure.
No, she actually returns with the guard returns with a kind of like kindly grandpa looking old man. He looks to be maybe in his mid 60s. He is
Walter's immediately suspicious.
He's kind of wiry. He is he has a little bit of hair left, but there's not much left on top. He wears robes very similar to Zarala's. And
Yoda, the Dagobah.
He's just thinking that.
yes,
Yoda, the Dagobah system.
He comes up. He comes up. She says, "I would like you to meet your guide," and he says, "Leader, I will." No.
Starts hitting me in the shins with
copyright.
Starts hitting me in the shins with the stick. That's great.
No, he's like he's not tall. He's like 5'2", so he's kind of little. But he's a human man. She says, "This is Oliver. He is one of the attendants here in the speaker's atrium. He will be more than happy to assist you during your time here in the city. Oliver, would you please see to it that the group here are bring the group here to the Arcos. I will send word ahead to have a set of guest quarters prepared where they can stay comfortably." And he says, "Very well, lady." And he turns to all of you and says, "It is a pleasure to meet all of you. I am Oliver, as my lady has said. Is there anything you need before we are off and away? I shall bring you to the Arcos to find some quarters where you can rest. By the looks of you, you've had quite a day."
Yeah.
You could say that.
Well, we ended it not bleeding from the eyes, mostly. So it's a decent day so far.
Very well then. Follow me, and I'll lead you straight away. And he turns, and the sprightly old man walk begins to head out of the chamber here. Zrala gives you guys sort of a little bit of a wave, and turns and heads towards one of the ascending staircases that will lead towards up to the upper portions of this structure. As you are led out of the chamber, I'm gonna give you guys something. It's not complete. It's actually not even the most complete version of this I have, but this is my actual progress map of Zresa. So you get a little bit of a sense of the city.
That is a coffee stain with a question mark, sir.
What?
Yep. No,
Be quiet.
That's really cool.
It just says sexy goblins? That's weird.
Wrong file.
So right now, you guys are in the part on that map that is labeled, I think 1. Yes, you guys are in the part that is labeled 1. That is a domed structure similar to the thing that's on the screen behind me here. You are going to be taken to an area called the Arcos. The Arcos is a name. It's some of the neighborhoods in the city have names. And Oliver explains this to you guys as like he's walking you through. You actually end up having to like leave here and move through a good portion of the city to reach one of the sort of like central columns, the like pillars of original like mesa that support the like the tier of stone above you. And actually inside those are these like huge carved like gently sloped ramps that allow you guys to like traverse up and down the various tiers. You guys are heading to the area labeled 2 on the map, which actually is a neighborhood that kind of like sprawls out at like ground level. It's in like the valley floor. It is like everything else carved out of the rock itself and is like interspersed with like original natural rock formation and natural like vegetation of the valley. The entire city of Zresa is like a city that like exists like sort of in harmony with the landscape into which it was built. As you are walking through, Oliver explains to you that many of the neighborhoods here have names that are sort of given to them by the different groups of people that have established them. Zresa is a city forged by the coming together of hundreds of disparate tribes that call Honorand their home. The Arcos is one of the older neighborhoods here, settled by some of the original humans that started to like work this area when they first came here. He points out some of the other neighborhoods as you guys make your way around and kind of get a little bit of the lay of the land. A neighborhood adjacent to the Arcos where he is taking you, you see is very different in like style. It has a lot of like wood and straw and thatch structures. A lot of these like kind of like long houses. He tells you that neighborhood is Chodbal. It is a Furbolg neighborhood that translates to the People's Flame. He shows you a lot of the different features of Zresa, a lot of the like more spectacular like interweavings of the natural formation of the mesa and the city, and tells you that the Furbolg tribes that moved in here several generations ago have been like an integral part of serving as like the architects and city planners of creating Zresa. It is a thing that they take a great amount of pride in. So he like in like tour guide mode, he's like, so if you pass a Furbolg on the street, make sure to tip your hat to them. We owe much of this to their ingenuity. He tells you, so the part that he leads you through as you guys leave, make your way down, he shows you the part labeled 3 on your map. He explains that is the Mezzogara Terrace, which is, he says, if you're in the mood for some shopping later, this is the place to go. It's the economic heart of the city. You can find shops that'll sell you most anything here. Widest variety you'll find anywhere in Nigeria, I guarantee you that. Walter, he's able to direct you. Labeled 6 on your map is the Terrace of the Sun. If you are interested in like finding some various temples and stuff like that, that's the place to go. He points out a few of the other things. There's a neighborhood called Gaikolos. There is a river that runs right through the center of the city. He tells you that is the River Nemekesh. It is considered sacred by many of the tribes here in Honorand. It is sort of like the central, like heart's blood that all of the all of the 100 rivers, all the 1,000 rivers. I think this 1,000 rivers is what this like. All the other rivers like feed into this. It is considered sacred to a lot of the tribes here. As you guys walk, you see that like the tropical climate here has all sorts of like brightly colored vegetation and flowering plants. You see these like exotic, tropical, brightly plumed birds sort of like flitting around through the trees and the eaves of many of the buildings. As you look up, you see a rather enormous, even from this distance, you can tell that it's fairly large. A large winged creature like leaps out of a cleft in the rock up above, and does like a swirling loop-de-loop, and you would swear that you can see a figure riding on its back before it like turns and flies back into what you now can tell is like this sort of large structure with all of these like openings that is sort of like got more of these creatures like coming in and out, and he brings you down to the ground level, to the neighborhood that he told you is called the Arcos, and he brings you to a small little like an Airbnb essentially. Like it's a little dwelling that like clearly is not inhabited by somebody on a regular basis. It's been furnished like comfortably but plainly. No, it's a two-tiered little house made out of stone that has been like carved into the level around it. It sits in the center or like along the border of this like quad essentially. Like there's an open space in the center where there are a bunch of people kind of like milling about, leisure activities. There's a group of children you see, like they're all kind of like huddled together in the center of this little grassy area that seem to be like dividing into teams. Several of them like see you guys as you come in and like watch this like band of like armed and beefy looking adventurers walk past, and several of them like look at you as you go past, and he leads you to this building, and he says, this domicile has been made available for you for as long as you choose to stay in the city. It is entirely up to you if you wish to stay here for a time, get some rest, and preordain a time for me to return if you would like me to guide you anywhere within the city, or you can simply set out now if there's anything you'd like. I am fully at your disposal while you're here in the city.
I'd like to take a half-hour nap and then go up to the religious area.
That actually sounds like a good idea.
I'll take a short rest.
Okay.
And everybody else can do what they're gonna do, I guess.
We'll say like he gives you guys, you say like give us like an hour or two to like rest and recuperate and stuff, and then we'll go from there. He says, "Oh, very well, I shall return." And he lets you guys into this building, and he leaves, wanders off.
Well, we've been here 15-20 minutes and haven't been attacked, so that's a great sign.
Rana, didn't get a chance to say it before, but thanks. You saved all of our lives. Oh. I mean, Aelar winces a little bit and glances over at Bram. Well, you know what I mean.
She says, of course, I did only what my job was to do while we were inside there. I do not yet know how to feel about the fact that we killed... I don't know.
Fake.
The form of the man that has done all of those terrible things. But we did not truly succeed in what I went there to accomplish.
Can't promise it, but if the opportunity arises, we'll try to contact you if we do have a solid beat on him. Not? Well, we've taken heads before. We can bring you his.
She says, I must reflect. I appreciate the sentiment, however.
Yeah.
Could also bring the head of the Emperor. It'll stop the war. Maybe.
No,
Separate issue, but
no, it wouldn't.
Yeah, Viren says,
Like 50 heads. for that.
that is unlikely. The Emperor is just as much a pawn to the Brotherhood as many of the other leaders throughout the Five Kingdoms.
it'll make me feel better, though.
Oh, it'd make me feel worlds better.
Are we the baddies?
She
No.
she looks
Not yet.
Lady
Yes, I
Viren
know.
looks at you guys, and she says, we do have something to discuss. Not that I am sprinting towards this eventuality, but we do find ourselves in something of a situation. She says, what will you do with me?
I'm
Well,
watching Aelar very closely.
as far as I'm concerned, you've served your time in the Estelgath.
Honestly, my thought is to turn you over to Terra Libra. I don't know what they'll do with you there. I do, besides question you for all the information that you can provide. More than just what is going on here. Names, locations, other potential agents of Artanis. Try to undo all the damage that you're...
She smiles. She says, I appreciate that you are being delicate, but you need not be.
Oh no, this is... I'm not being delicate. I don't know what word to use for what you and the others have done. All the people that you think that you've helped and that you've ground under in a way that makes what the Ignean Empire has done look like schoolyard bullying. So I'm going to... my vote? Let the bookkeepers figure out what they're going to do with you. Maybe maybe some good can come out of that. Because I literally don't know what else to do with you.
She nods. She says, that is reasonable and perhaps more generous than many would stance that many would take.
Well, if you do actually have guilt, that's... then perhaps a long life living with it is far better than even a slow death. But that's philosophy. I'm just a guy who steals things.
She nods. She says, well, if it will make things a little easier until any of those arrangements can be made. You have my word, I need nothing in this city. I am more than content to stay here in this building for as long as you remain here, and you need not fear that I will wander off or attempt to disappear. She says, the Estelgath is a difficult place to exist in. Perhaps even you are all still feeling its after effects, even for the short time that you were there. I was there for several months. I can hardly imagine the strength of fortitude required by those who spent years there. It has taken much from me, and I would be more than happy to stay here and rest while you conduct your business in the city. And then you may arrange to bring me to the bookkeepers as you see fit.
Well, as long as they don't shove you in the ziggurat, I'd really be ashamed to lose your valuable information.
She sort of shrugs. He says, I shan't keep you any longer. You have a well-deserved nap to take, and then a city to explore. She looks to you as interest. She says, we'll talk when we get the chance. I'm sure you wish to yell at me.
Among other things. We need to talk before the yelling and then probably talk some more.
Says,
I smile.
very well. And unless any of you stop her for any reason, she's gonna go and find somewhere in this place to lay down. And she's gonna take her rest. Rana and Rogers go out. There's a little backyard courtyard behind this this little building. The two of them go out there, and you see them sort of just kind of sitting out there and talking amongst each other. And that just leaves you guys amongst yourselves. So either you can, if any of you have any conversing with each other to do, or if you just want to star wipe as you guys take your nap and then head out into the city, that is up to you.
I'm fine with star wipe nap, but
Okay.
I have nothing.
personal
and what-
vote is that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Alrighty. Then we'll say a couple of hours passes. Everybody take your short rest. And we'll call the time of day late afternoon. So the sort of the heat of the day has largely passed. The sun is getting low over the valley, casting the entire city in this brilliant fiery orange as the beams of the fading sun cast down the narrow alleys created by the canyon that this city is inside. You guys find that you have a very peaceful nap, all things considered. The sort of the sounds of the life of the city, life of this neighborhood, the Arcos sort of wafts in through the open windows of this domicile. You hear people coming to and fro, greeting each other and talking about small nothings, the day-to-day of their lives. You hear the group of children that was out in that courtyard the pounding of running feet and the raised voices of some sort of a game that they are playing. And you guys wake feeling refreshed, and you find that as you get up, Oliver is on the front steps of this little domicile, ready and waiting to either escort you or direct you anywhere you guys want to go or anything you want to do in the city.
Well, I know Walter and I want to visit the terrace where the various shrines to deities are. Bram, Oz, Z, you got places you want to visit?
Well, I know I definitely don't want to go to church.
Feel free to split up. Feel free if anybody wants to have a conversation with one of the NPCs that are in the presume that Yegraine, Rogers, and Rana are gonna just stay here and are available to talk to as well if you have that desire. But we can handle each. People can go in different places. We can handle each thing one at a time. If you have nothing in mind, you can also just I'm just gonna go wander the city and see what I get up to. Is perfectly fair as well.
Yeah,
Roll a D100, see where you go.
honestly, how Oz feels about this is this has been, from what I'm getting and what I'm bringing to this, is that this has been the only place so far is people of the free,
Mm-hmm.
a free community. So it's from what I'm getting as being this is probably as comfortable of a space that I'm going to be in, where it
Sure.
seems so I am leisurely almost probably than the most comfortable space of I'm not walking as hard, but I'm more curious. I'm being how are free peoples from what I've lived with,
Mm-hmm.
how are they living now? How is this being affected
Sure.
from the kingdom itself? How even possibility of being does anybody even know of me? Does people looking at me or finding any other types of people that might have, I don't know.
Sure.
This has been my, it's so much I think to Osria, so being the high class stuff was whatever, that's always going to be here, but this is another people actually survived this, there's
Okay. Okay, so we'll say that Osrius is just gonna wander and we'll see what he gets up to.
Yeah.
Bram or Zintris, anything specific you guys are looking to do?
I'll wander with Oz. I don't have anything specific.
Okay.
hell yeah, let's do it, buddy. Hand in hand.
I'm gonna skip away.
Yeah.
Seeing Oz and Bram go wander off, and Walter and Aelar kind of go off, and kind of just feeling a little out of sorts with everything. Zintris would probably wander a little bit, but stick pretty close, keep kind of circling back to keep an eye.
You can come wander with us if you want. It's open invitation. We weren't just
Yeah,
fine,
no,
man."
no. She's very much on edge with just getting Yegraine back, so she happily sends you guys off and wanders a bit, but kind of keeps circling back to that courtyard area, probably prestigitates cute little things for the kids to amuse them.
Okay.
And then-
Aelar is going to warn her
out.
before she starts doing magic. The folks here in Honoran get twitchy about that.
It'll be fine. And I just hang out by the area.
If you guys are discussing plans, Oliver can say, generally you'll find that at least here in Zresa, think of it sort of as the metropolis of Honorand. People here are much more inclined to be more familiar and comfortable with the existence and use of magic than some of the more remote tribes. Perhaps nothing too outlandish, but no, I'm sure you'll not have too much trouble if you're performing some minor amusements.
It's just a magic show for kids while I wait for my mentor to wake up.
Okay. Then let us. Why don't we handle Walter and Aelar first? You guys head over to the Terrace of the Sun, led by Oliver. It's the other side of the city, so like he goes with you guys. Nobody else has a destination in mind. They're just like wandering. You guys like specifically want to get somewhere, so he's like, "Yes, come along. I'll take you there." And you head. He actually takes you. You're already like ground level. He takes you around the like curved base of the mesa that like Honorand is built into. You take a small bridge to cross over the river, which is where it flows through is only 100 or so feet across. So there's just a bridge. You cross over it. You find yourself walking through this sort of like slapshod, like no real like planning to it, just like stalls and tents have kind of been set up wherever, a little like street market where food is being sold. You see like all sorts of stuff change hands as you make your way. Like you see somebody buy like a loaf of bread with like they like pull out this little satchel and they're like they have like some like beads, and they have like intricately woven like rope necklace, and they like they find like the vendor finds something that they like and like trades them that for the bread. You do see a couple of people pay with like coin. The denominations of coins you see are like all over the place. A few folks have like Mythlindian coins. You see a bunch of denominations of like very rough, like almost like pig iron, like money that you don't really recognize the denomination of. It's just like a like a little chip of metal that seems to be some sort of an accepted currency here. The concept of like trading and bartering seems to be very alive and well here, just as much as like paying coin for stuff. You come around, and eventually you are led to this like winding switchback staircase that leads up to this plateau that has all these different size and different shaped buildings on it. And Oliver tells you like, this is the Terrace of the Sun. He says we're about an hour truly from sunset. We're before the sun dips below the horizon in the valley. But I assure you, at dusk and at dawn, he says, you'll find no more spectacular view than here. That's why they call it the Terrace of the Sun. It catches the valley just in the right way that it inspired dozens, if not hundreds, of devotees of various spirits and gods and the like to build shrines and temples and such in honor of their the idols of their worship here. And it says, I can wait here if you wish to wander the various shrines and temples of your own accord. If there's something specific you're looking for, I can attempt to guide you in the right direction.
I'm gonna roll up my sleeve and show him the feather triskelion and ask if he knows any religious groups that worship a 2 or 3 female set. Probably not strictly of purely good nature. Though, when describing it, Walter's kind of like wincing about it because like they've been nothing but helpful to him.
Sure. He kind of thinks he does. He says, I'm not sure of that, but there is a shrine on the far side over there that I know many of the devotees are. He says, "Shall we call it fascinated with the natural order of life and death and the endless cycle and unavoidable end that awaits us all." He says, "Perhaps that is up your alley, if you will."
Yeah, I can start there. It's really more looking for a starting point than anything else. So start with what you know, find what you're looking for. One of those kind of deals.
Of course. I said, and you, my friend, is there something specific you're looking for?
I've only seen a ruined shrine or two, but do you know if there's a shrine here to Mistra, the goddess of magic?
He says,
Or any deity of magic, perhaps.
He says there is a shrine that would be your best bet. He says the peoples of Honorand tend to be more aligned with deities of the natural order of things: law, nature, life and death, the hunt. Things of this nature. But there is a small shrine. Which I know that is sometimes frequented by those who believe in the magical arts. And many of the Furbolg's shaman I have seen go to this place, and they are about as close to a devotee of magic as you get here.
Thank you.
Of course. Why don't you guys roll? We can roll some dice, right? We're playing D&D. Why don't you guys each roll a D20, and whoever's higher will go to their temple first.
Oz goes to the bathroom.
11?
8. So
8. All right, so
8 on
Aelar,
stone dice.
you head over to the shrine that you were guided toward. You find it is a small, like a small open air altar with several Doric pillars. That rise up and have a small roof attached over it. There is a little shrine inside. It has a kind of a non-specific idol on it, and you do see that there is a person inside who is currently going about the business of tidying the place up. Sweeping some stray bits of moss and other things that have been tracked in out. They are you can tell a Furbolg by their very tall stature, very slender frame. They sort of bluish cast to them, and the telltale sort of large downturned ears and shape of their nose.
I'll ask if they'd like some help, because Aelar realizes he doesn't he literally doesn't have an offering for the shrine. He has no money with him. He doesn't even have many spell components left at this point. So.
Okay. So you come over, and the Furbolg looks at you as a male. You see, hard to gauge age. Furbolgs have a pretty long lifespan. He looks at you and he says, if there is, if you have a desire to help, I will not turn it away. Please come. I was preparing to polish the shrine. It needs doing, and it is good work.
By all means. Normally, I'd have left a coin or cast a spell, but let me worship with a little bit of labor.
The Furball nods is the gods care not for material items. The gods care for intentions. If you give what you have, when you have plenty, then there is no giving at all, really. It has cost you nothing. If you give what you can when you have nothing, that is an acceptable offering to the gods.
And honestly, that's more or less it. Aelar's giving a little bit of devotion to one of the few things he really believes in, magic, by making the temple.
Okay. Make a religion roll.
Alright. Ooh, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. After a few minutes, like, you get underway, the Furbolg actually, like, kind of without much more of a word, like, just gives you sort of a nod and, like, wanders off. So you kind of, like, finish this process of your own. You spend a few minutes in, like, quiet contemplation. And nothing, like, flashy or, like, magical and arcane happens, but you kind of reflect on, on magic and everything that has happened to you, especially, in your life, but really, like, in these last, couple of years since, like, you undertook this journey that you're now on. And you feel a sense of solace that kind of settles in your chest and gives you, like, a sense of warmth that, like, magic is, as you understand it, one of the underlying truths of the universe. It is, the weave underlies all, and all of the things that are in flux, all of the uncertainty, like, there always seems to be, and this constant, the thread of magic will persevere, no matter how many twists and turns the universe tries to throw at it. And you kind of find that parallel in your own experiences on this journey, that at least you always kind of, like, have that. There is, sort of your rock, your sense of, like, level. And you just sort of take a few minutes and like, feel that internal gratitude. And I think you leave this shrine sort of feeling a little more refreshed, feeling a little bit more centered, a little bit more on even footing, and prepared to face this seemingly endless labyrinth of twists and turns and new developments ahead of you, kind of knowing that, like, at the end of the day, like, you always have your constant to fall back on.
Okay. Then staying a little bit straighter, and recalling a much more time previously where a much more rakish Torian Endrian, rather than the harried and I'm seeing too many things at once. He snaps his fingers, conjures Scooter on his shoulder, and goes to find Walter.
Alrighty, go ahead and take a point of DM's inspiration as you leave. Just kind of putting that in your pocket for later, feeling you have really reached a place of center. Walter, you find your prescribed temple. It is, and actually it's a much larger structure. It is built. There's like an edifice built into the side of like the back wall of this terrace where it like juts out of the actual like mesa that Zresa is built into. So you enter into this this chamber. It is quite dim within. Actually, it like instantly serves as a relief to you to like get out of sunlight with your current condition. Like the darkness inside this chamber kind of like embraces you like a comforting friend. There are a few scattered candles that cast like just enough light that you can navigate in this chamber without like bumping into things blindly. You wouldn't have that problem in your current condition, but somebody with normalize,
Sure.
would benefit from those candles. You see that the space in the center of this chamber is a sort of a circular area, and there is a which you identify as like a pool of still, dark water in the center of the chamber. There are a few alcoves that look to be like private, like meditation chambers, and you see scattered throughout this this area all sorts of like offerings have been left. You see a lot of like sealed jars. You see like coins scattered occasionally across the floor, and you don't immediately see anybody in here. As far as you can tell, like you're alone as you enter into this chamber.
I guess first thing I'll probably do is go look into that little pool of water and probably stare at myself for a little bit.
Okay.
Like
Stare in the water and contemplate yourself.
Yeah. Like, hey, maybe it's a reflecting pool. Maybe I'll see something interesting.
Okay. Yeah, you head over. You stare into the pool.
I guess just like so. Walter's kind of like going into this like not really looking for answers, but more like looking for questions, looking for like he doesn't know what to ask or what to look for. So like finding a thread to pull is probably like the best place, and he doesn't really know how he's been able to contact Maka apart from literally and figuratively dying. So like being in the place between, like that's the only time he's been able to interact with them directly.
Sure.
So and the curse, I guess, which same difference.
Okay.
So like Walter's trying to try to puzzle out like what does the light mean and what is the state of these creatures that he has communed with before.
Okay.
That's probably what's going through his head while he's kind of like staring at his reflection in the center there.
Okay. So you're just looking into the reflection, sort of, and thinking. Make a religion roll.
Sure, I can do that. If only I knew how the alphabet worked. That's a 6.
6. Do you currently have your disguise face on, or are you spooky eyeing it up? Okay.
Yep. Nope. Spooky eyeing it up.
So you kind of like look into your own reflection in this dark water. You do see that, like, as you get closer to it and look down at it, it's not very deep. It actually has like a 2 small steps down, and then just like a flat bottom. You get the sense that it might be intended to, like, people to go in it, but you just kind of stare into the bottom of this. You stare into your reflection, and you find after a while you become like transfixed in your own gaze, and like these like black pits where you your eyes should be like suck you in, and for a moment as you're thinking about all this and staring into your own reflection, you start to feel a little sense of vertigo, almost as if you're about to lose balance and lurch forward into your own reflection, but you are snapped from your reverie as you hear the shifting of cloth of somebody approaching you in this space, and it kind of snaps you out of this this place, and you tear your eyes away from your own reflection, and look up to see a woman who you have a hard time identifying her heritage. She has kind of very gray, a very gray pallor to her skin. She is completely bald. She is wearing dark robes, and she looks to you and she says, "Welcome to the temple." She doesn't seem to be overly disturbed by your eyeballs.
I'd say Walter's immediately when he realizes someone's behind him and he snaps out of it. He's almost going to reflexively disguise self.
Okay.
And
maybe you're not sure if she saw it or not. She doesn't really react in any way. She says, "I am an acolyte here. Is there something that you seek, or have you merely come to make an offering?"
Walter's going to pull his brand out again, the tattoo and with the feathers triskelion, and he'll say, "Someone or something stopped me, saved me many times, and I communed with them once or twice, maybe more, and I don't know how or why, but learning what I've learned about," then he'll gesture broadly, this world we live in, I want to know more about their nature, but also I don't know what to ask.
You say that you have communed with something beyond your understanding.
I think so.
Entities such as the gods and the other things that exist beyond the veil are fickle, and often they follow rules. This thing that you have experienced, it is rare indeed. Many of us spend our whole lives merely guessing and hoping to find the secret to appeasing the gods, finding our way to make ourselves worthy in their eyes. If you have communicated with them, if you have found the price of breaking their silence, then you already have your answers, do you not?
Oh, yes, I wasn't here for answers, though. I was here for questions.
What better way to ask the questions than directly to the source?
Dig me out in 10 minutes? And I'll start walking into the pool.
Okay, they seem a little like
Give me
that
10
one.
minutes.
That one break like the emo facade breaks, and they're a little bit like the fuck. You
Give me my shovel in 10 minutes. I got this.
so you're going.
Double kicked over the shovel is like, just fish me out with this.
So you're going into the water.
Walter's like he'll hand the shovel over because like he cares about that, even though it's not his
Okay.
shovel. It's like it's meaningful.
Hold on, is he gonna do the same thing I did, but be like not being able to be like all the way immersed into water?
Nope.
This is deep enough for
well,
you to get underneath.
Yeah, I was saying,
Oh,
Walter's
he found
like
the deep water. He's
he's going like knee deep and turning around and being like, "What better offering than yourself?" And then I'll just submerge myself.
Okay.
And
Then I think.
I think I can only hold my breath for 5 minutes, so like that's about the amount of time before I pass out and go unconscious.
Right. So I think in sensitivity to being perhaps like unpleasantly triggering, let's sort of hand wave part of this to say that like you submerge yourself in water with the intention of recreating sort of the previous scenarios that has put you in contact with Maka, which takes an amount of time. You're getting oddly used to having this happen to you, weirdly. And as you like begin to like you get to sort of the point where like your like willpower is battling with the like physiological like demands of your body to try and like force you out of this water. You at some point like must have crossed over from like consciousness to unconsciousness or like whatever this state is, because you find yourself like falling backwards as if like down through the bottom of the pool in like a big torrent of water, and you like slam onto a hard stone ground and find yourself once again in that familiar chamber that you have only experienced on the two other occasions where you theoretically like briefly experienced like body death. And as before, there are two figures there. One of them, the tall, slender, porcelain-skinned Maka, standing in the forefront, looking down at you on the ground as you like cough up a bunch of water. The other, that like shadowy, hunched-over form, like hiding in a back or like a further back portion of this chamber. And Maka looks down at you, and she has sort of a like, oh dear, like a sad expression on her face. Like, I did think it would eventually be the type of thing you'd try to come and speak. I'm sorry that it has to be that way. It is not ideal. Walter Gray.
Walter will... it's probably for the first time that anybody will actually take his time to bow in greeting to Maka and the other. And we'll say, I saw it, the cataclysm, the before and the now. I don't know what to ask. Imagine this is a prison for you. I imagine that there's a reason for it, but I don't understand. I don't understand enough to ask.
We're getting closer to the end now. It is less risky for me to share more with you. As an old friend would say, the closer you get to an event, the fewer disparate paths there are that can lead there. In essence, it's a lot harder to change the outcome of something that's going to happen tomorrow than it is to change the outcome of something that's going to happen 100 years from now. I can speak a little more freely now and hopefully not be so infuriatingly vague as I've had to be the last few times we've talked. You need to understand, though, Walter Gray, your situation is precarious. I am doing what I can to keep the corruption at bay and keep you yourself until you can find a cure. Coming here to have this conversation, I hope it is worth it. I hope that what I can tell you will give you answers, because it will come at a cost. And I will give you fair warning. The more you return to this place to speak to me and seek out my counsel, the less I will be able to help you. She kind of looks at you, she says, do you understand?
As long as I'm the one paying the price, it's fine.
She says, what you witnessed, what the obelisk showed you, it's something halfway between what a man that called himself Artanis was shown, a lie that he was told, and the truth. A long, long time ago, a mortal was sold a lie, and believed it so thoroughly, and convinced others to believe it so thoroughly, that they nearly ended the world. What you have been experiencing in your visions, that the obelisk has shown you as it has degraded over 10,000 and more years, is the true future behind what would come to pass if Artanis was successful. The cataclysm that you saw, nearly the end of the world, it was Artanis coming very close to succeeding. The destruction was what was unleashed before we were able to stop it. It was a stalemate of sorts, neither side victorious. She gestures around. I am in a prison, but it is a prison of my own design, and one of necessity. Eventually, you will come to me. Where I am is where all of this happened, all of those millennia ago. I've been here since. Myself and those like me worked to stop what Artanis tried to do. We only partly succeeded. We succeeded in buying time. Time to find those who could finish what we had started. It's been an arms race ever since. The Brotherhood trying to finish their work. We trying to find those who would finish ours and restore this world to the way that it should be. She kind of looks at you and she says, I told you the first thing when we first met that I was sorry. And I meant it. You are 100 generations past the crimes that this entire world is paying for. And you and your friends have had the burden laid at your feet of taking up our mantle. You didn't ask for it and you don't deserve it. And the road has been painful, I know, and will continue to be painful. But we have tried and failed so many times to find those who could end this. You and yours are our last hope.
Can we use their weapons to undo what they are trying? Or would that
She says,
make it worse?
She says, I've been trapped here for a long time. My knowledge of the outside is limited, save what I know through your eyes. The things that the Brotherhood is obtaining, they need them to bypass the walls of the type of prison that I'm in to get to where I am, to try and finish what they started. You too will need to acquire these things if you are to come here to follow them where they intend to go.
You are of the shadow, yes?
In a sense.
Those of the light, are there any that will work with me?
She says, there are. And I have no doubt that your path is leading you to them. I am not the only one of my kind. I am not the only one in a prison. And I am not the only one whose path you're destined to cross before all of this is over.
Unfortunately, I think my 10 minutes may be up.
She kind of nods and she says, very well. Remember what I said to you. When you find the dawn, you can be free to this. And the figure behind her, as you feel yourself begin to lift off your feet, the figure behind her speaks for the first time in this interaction and says, "Pish posh. Just talk to the damn half-elf. He's got a plan, that fucker. He's always got a plan. Wring his neck if you have to. Tell him no more games. Get the answers out of Adrian. And you, like, rise up, and a pretty, like, panicked-looking disciple of this, like, temple to the death gods is, like, hauling you like a drowned rat out of this water.
I'll, like, snack back and, like... I guess what's I'll spare the dying myself.
Okay.
It's like she like wakes me up and it's like, nope, heart's not beating. Just kickstart that one real fast.
This is probably where Aelar comes in. He's just going to take in the situation.
Aelar, you walk in as this like bald-headed, dark robed person is like standing over Walter, like with his shovel in one hand, and he's like, and then like a bunch of water comes out of his lungs, and he sits back up.
I'll apologize to the acolyte after I stand up.
I can't.
I'm definitely not like disguised self anymore. Like that's just gone. It's like, don't pay the wrong price. And I'll just clap her on the shoulder.
She like hands your shovel back, and she's like, "You should go, and also so should I, because I need to rethink some things about my life after." I might actually go dedicate my life to like a nice farming god or something, because that was the most fucked thing I've ever seen.
Just like turns your dead in the face, is like, seek the light, and then he just like walks off.
Like, oh god, nope, okay, nope, yep. My mother was right. I should have gone into the family business of river fishing. I had to be rebellious. This is terrible. This is the worst thing I've ever witnessed. I'm turning it all around. And they like leave out of another door of the temple and like go to change their life.
And not
like, hop out a window.
You anywhere, and Aelar's just dragging you out of.
He's gonna when you go like grab. He's gonna grab your wrists. Like, you wanna smack up Adrian real fast. I got some answers and I got some questions.
Invoking his name will probably call him here, so let's head back to the to our little respite. I'm willing to bet he'll have his feet up and be waiting for us.
I have a feeling he will be in a defensive posture, waiting for the inevitable shovel heading to his face. But yes,
let's try asking, then we'll do the shovel.
We'll see what he's ready for.
And Aelar's just gonna keep dragging him out. And come on,
we're like weaving those little two paths together. Like he's not gonna know which one we're gonna pick. You'll find out with the rest of it.
I need to learn prestidigitation. You are getting water all over the shrines.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna cast Spirit Shroud on real fast, just to. Yeah, you know what? Let's. It's probably gonna be a nice little necrotic one, but I'll use that to dry myself off. Or try.
Okay.
Give
yourself the accelerator of dryings. bunch of ghosts just like come up from the ground over you.
Ghosts clean me.
You dry off. Okay. So as you guys do that, you guys start heading back, bickering about how you're gonna get a hold of Tori Adrian, and we will take a shift over to Osrius and Bram as you guys are heading through the city. Let's see. Why don't you guys roll me a d12?
How about I say no? No, all right.
Okay.
No, sorry.
10.
I don't know, man. I sat there listening to Walter get drowned. I'm ready. I got a 10.
A 10. Okay. Alrighty. Bram. D12.
Roll me a 12.
D12.
Yeah, D12, buddy.
Oh my god, I gotta find a D12.
That's true. You
Find 2d6.
Yeah, there you go.
It is really funny. It is really funny to know our dice, our dice pools, because
I
I
don't know.
have
I don't know if ever rolled a D12 in my life.
I have enough D20s
You've
and
absolutely rolled a
D12s.
D12 before. You just did it as a D12.
Did you also
Oh, we
roll a
both
10?
have 10. Woo!
I rolled
Okay.
fives.
You rolled. Okay. So you guys rolled 2 10s.
10.
What I was going to do is I was going to take one roll minus the other roll and let that be the number of like the area in the city that I moved you. Except you guys absolutely botched that plan. So I think instead what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have you move like you just ascend up like the
20.
like above the like onto the main level of the city like over to here.
What do you
And-
have over to here? I can't see that screen.
Oh, you can't see. It's so like if you guys just like ascended up directly above, like and continue to wander around, that leads you to the Mezzogata Terrace, which is like a big like hubbub, like bazaar, and there's shops and there's stuff. It's sort of like where the most things are, it's like to just like see. So it makes sense that you guys like kind of wander to there.
Epcot Center.
Yes. So, you guys wander around for a time being, and you're not heading anywhere in particular. You're just sort of taking in the sights.
Oh, do you want to get some street meat? Let's get some street
Street meat.
You get street
name
meat.
is Trixie.
meat. We have to roll a con
You
save.
both get like a big like
Dysentery.
stick with like just meat. And you just eat that.
turkey legs.
You get turkey. You get turkey legs.
It's just the side that just says meat.
No,
Yeah,
it
that's
doesn't.
one of those
No, it
things
doesn't
where, like,
even
the
say
big-
meat. It's just a picture of meat. They're like, we're not gonna wait. We don't need to waste time. Like, we know what
big
we're about
hunk,
here.
Like amorphous meat, and then some guy like takes a big slice off it. That's the kind of
Yeah, yeah. There's like a spinning kebab and a guy just like with a Aladdin sword. It's like
Okay, Aladdin sword.
slices off.
Okay, scimitar, Aladdin sword. Two very one accurate, one little offensive. Okay.
So you have your meat. You're making your way through the streets.
I tap Oz on the shoulder, like, "Let's go, Prince Ali. Come on."
I am one step ahead of the footman.
You enter. So you pass a lot of like interesting looking like stalls and shops. There are things being sold, like every kind of like sort of like trinkets and like articles of clothing, ornate like hand woven like scarves and shawls. You see somebody is selling like handcrafted pottery. There is shops that seem to be selling like weapons and armor, and there is a shop selling what claims to be like potions. You see a few kind of like stick out to you as you guys like sort of make your way meandering through this area of the city. There is a storefront that has a sign out front that says the Black Tusk, and there's like a huge obsidian tusk that has been like mounted on a board that is like hung above the shop. You kind of like as you peek in the window, you see that there seems to be like a weird eclectic array of stuff in there. You definitely see like weapons and some armor and some things like that, and as well as like some other random stuff. Bram, you get a glimpse towards the back of the shop. You see a freaking massive orc is behind like the counter at the back is currently dealing with a customer. You see another shop that's kind of like tucked in an alley, like you almost miss it, and you just like happen to see the sign. It doesn't have any like lettering. There's just like an absolutely like terribly drawn picture of like a spider with a little top hat who's giving like a spider thumbs up. It looks like it was drawn by like somebody who got hit in the head with like a rock and was still a little dazed while they were trying to draw this.
I was
My
interested.
type of people.
I was just say I was interested in the obsidian place.
But now,
Well, I'll give you the list of some various options here. There is a shop that you see that is like inside like a full-on tree that is like just growing between two other buildings. There's like a huge tree, and there's an opening in the tree, and there's a shop inside the tree that you can see. There is a massive 2-story shop that is like on the corner of an intersection, takes up the entire corner. It has these like elaborate purple banners that are like draped around the outside of the building. There is a like huge like 15-foot sign right on the corner that has the image of a man wearing like a neat, tightly wrapped purple turban. He has this like very fancily coiffed beard with this curled mustache, and he has these like twinkling purple eyes, and you see that the sign has been like magically animated, so that like this figure is like doing this, and then you see like beneath the giant animated sign of a guy doing this is that guy doing this to like people as they pass by, and he's like, come visit my shop, come to the Mirage, wonders beyond your imagination, come.
That already said Aladdin sword. Maybe we might want to test it and cancel it.
You see a shop that has like a bunch of little like enclosures and pens and cages that have a bunch of different like little beasties and animals and stuff in them. You see a shop that has a very simple sign that has like what looks like kind of like runage drawn into it. It has in small lettering underneath. It says Hestinia's Studio, and as you pass by that, you look in, and there is an honest to God minotaur in the back of that shop who is like sitting on a tree trunk stool in front of somebody who is laying on like a recumbent sort of like lounge chair in front of them, and she has a series of like these fine needles, and you watch as she is like jabbing these needles into this person's arm,
Good on that one.
and
acupuncture. Really?
leaving no. The needles are ink infused, and she is like
Is this where
needling ink
Ramadas
into
get
this person's skin in a like partly completed design that wraps from like the shoulder around the bicep and like down over the elbow.
Okay.
The final thing that you hear you hear it rather than see it. You hear what sounds like the like raucous gathering of a crowd. People who like kind of in unison, like you hear a bunch of people like give out like a yeah, and then like a moment later you hear like ooh. And undercut, you hear like the distinct like smack of like fist on that it can only be made by like fist on face. Like there is like somebody is fighting somewhere and a bunch of people are watching it, like nearby. So those are the things that you have in this area. You have the Black Tusk. You have that shop with the spider. You have the one in the tree. You have the Mirage. You have the animals. You have the tattoo studio, and then you have whatever this like fight ring is nearby.
Okay, hear me out. Tag team match. Spider with a hat. Tattoos afterwards to commemorate.
So what I will say is,
victory.
like, you guys have a couple of days in the city, so like don't
Okay.
you can see multiple things, and like there will be
Okay.
ample opportunity for the people who are not here to come visit these.
Luchadors.
I look. This is what I like. It might not happen tonight, but Bram and Adria's tag team match. I'm
for it.
wanting to see that.
With my +2 strength, I'm for it.
Hey, buddy, I'm helping you out.
I mean, that's better than my +0.
I feel like we gotta first figure out what the spider story is.
Yeah, we're gonna see what
Okay.
the spider story is. I need to see the spider with the hat.
Let's stop this one.
All right.
I was
And
just
depending
thinking in
on
terms
how
of it.
long you spend in each, in these, like, we'll visit one, maybe two, these
Yes.
places, and then and then we'll move on. And then you can revisit or come to places that you didn't see before.
Please.
Okay. Okay. So, you enter into this store. The store is as ramshackle inside as it appears to, as the sign indicated it would be on the outside, like wedged into this alley. You get the sense that it is actually, like, as you enter into it, you're like, this actually kind of looks like a shack that somebody just, like, erected between these two other buildings, as opposed to, like, a building itself.
Like they just built it here. Like
Yeah,
just,
like somebody just, like, got some shit and, like, built a little structure between these two
I
other
like it.
buildings and
I
then
like
put a
it.
sign out front. It smells of wet socks and banana peels as you
Oh,
enter.
God.
And there are spider webs seeming to, like, cover its interior.
Wow.
Among these, like, sticky threads of spider silk, there is a bizarre collection of knickknacks, trinkets, and items. Many of which you would say, like, nearly, like, maybe don't quite rank above garbage. And they're, like, suspended from the the webs in here. A sort of, like, green, a greenish hued to, like, the fine hairs covering its body, a, like, humanoid spider with sort of, like, a weird bulbous body and, like, gangly spider limbs sits at the back of the stall before, like, standing up and, like, giving you a little wave and, like, clacking his mandibles in your direction.
All right. Well, we certainly picked a place. Woo. Just walking in, I'm trying to not, like, well, as being as tall as I am I, like, really trying to, like, dip and weave these things, like hanging down, like, these potions and, like, antiques and knickknacks hanging down?
A little bit. You kind of, like, are
Okay.
bumping into things a little bit. The benefit of the way that this proprietor seems to have displayed his wares is that, like,
Up.
it's not like bumping into a shelf where you, like, bump the shelf and a bunch of shit falls over. You, like, bump into a bunch of the shit he's got hanging, but it just sort of, like, rolls off of you and then goes back to, like, swinging, so, like, you can't really hurt anything even if you bump into a bunch of shit, which moments later you realize, like, is probably by intentional design, because as this, like, spider person comes around, like, and moves towards you to greet you, they, like, sort of trip and, like, knock into, like, there's, like, a dented helmet. They sort of, like, and, like, knock into it, and it, like, boom, and then just, like, swings, and they sort of stow it. They appear extremely clumsy as they come around, and they come up to you, and there is, like, a brief chittering of claws, and then in surprisingly good common, this spider person says, "Welcome to the Awkward Ettercap. My name is Timothy, and this is my shop."
Hello, Timothy. My name is Zresa. This is my friend Bram here. We are new to the city, and we are looking around. And to be honest, I saw your crude drawing of yourself with the top hat. I'm guessing.
Yes!
I loved it.
That is to show that my wares are top notch. He tips an invisible top hat that he is not wearing.
Well, you sure.
Bram adjusts slightly his actual top hat with big ram horns on it.
well, this is sure top. As he looks up.
It certainly is a notch.
Honestly, Timothy, buddy, what would you say is probably your best item here, possibly? You know, as for a couple adventurers who don't know where they are, well, not really know who they are, but a couple adventurers that might have something to do later. You got anything for that? Any
My
knickknacks?
best
You
item.
tried to buy drugs right now.
Yeah, me.
Couple
My-
of guys in the city for a weekend don't know. Look at that.
couple
best item is-
enhancements.
He
Maybe for a fight, buy steroids
This
off a top-headed spider.
he says, "Well, I have my some of my regular things," and he gestures through like a bunch of stuff that is like largely garbage. There are a few things in it that appear to be like actual wares that you might want to buy. He gestures to something as a necklace with a small black stone. He gestures to there is a blanket that is like has almost like scales on one side and like a fur lining on the other that he has. He has a gold goblet that has these like circular etchings into it. He has, weirdly enough, in among the garbage, though, like you get a sense that maybe it is, there's more to it than it appears. He displays for you a what appears to be a blank sheet of like sort of dirty paper, and there is a glass vial, which he knocks into and says, "Oh yeah," and he shows you a glass vial that, as you look at it, like appears to be just like literally filled with like thousands of little tiny spiders that are just like going around inside it. He says, "I have all of these things. These are sort of my standard wares, but I do have one item that is very good, and I would like you guys to roll me a D100.
Oh, boy.
Either one of you, just one though. So whichever
go
one
ahead,
he wants to
Bram.
roll.
Go ahead, bro.
D100.
A D100, and the D100 will determine what
What that
his
item is?
top what that top item is determined by a D100.
A potted flower. I swear to God. Oh,
This
hey,
man
I wish I had that.
D12, but pulls out an actual D100.
Pulls out a big
You know how easy
D100.
this is to find?
I got a golf ball with a
It's
bunch of
it's
numbers on it. It's okay, because it is going to take 45 minutes to like settle on a number when he rolls it.
And why are you holding
16.
it? Just put it down.
16?
15.
16. Okay.
Is that the face that was actually up, or the face next to the one that was up?
I don't know.
Is it easy?
I
to
don't
tell?
know.
I know how to read a die, bitch.
With the 100 sides?
Roll a
Yeah.
D4. And if you roll a 4, roll it again until you get not a 4, because there's only 3 options from this table.
3.
A 3. He comes over and he brings down from a web nook that's up sort of toward the top, about a foot long rod that you can clear, like you immediately can tell like this is a quality like magical item. Bram, do you want to make a Arcana check to see
Sure.
if you know what you think this is?
Bram, you look at it. I'm
Osrius
pretty
is
sure-
not going to know.
No. This is why I bring Bram. He looks at the magic stuff. I look at the ugly kind of things and being like, yeah, that's okay.
It's a mean thing to say about Bram, but all right.
Yeah, it's fine. He loves me.
I can't tell if this is an 18 or a 15.
I can't see how you read a D100 just fine.
Well, these dice are different. It's 18, so it's a dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, you are pretty sure that this is a rod of absorption.
Absorbing of what?
Bram, what you would know about this item is that this is an item that, like, if you become attuned to it, it essentially allows you to use your reaction to like eat a spell that gets shot at you, and like absorb it into the rod.
Oh.
And then redirect, like, you absorb that energy, and then you can redirect, as a spellcaster, you can redirect that energy, like, to cast
It's an Uno reverse.
It is it is a rod of Uno reverse.
Oh, you.
He says, like,
okay.
call this the rod of Uno reverse.
We'll take it.
No, you.
No, you. If he says we have to pay, be like Uno reverse.
That's interesting. It's a
What is it, Bram?
rod. It's a rod. I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, just.
So what do you? What might a fine gentleman like yourself be asking for such an item, Timothy?
He says, well, this is the best item I have in my shop, and I've been assured that it's quite the piece. This is kind of like looks over you guys. You see his, like, 8 spider eyes, like, you see the handle of your handle the neck and whatever the part with the little toony boys on it, he sees your loot on your back, and he says, a musician. Ooh, I love musicians. I can come down on the price for a musician. Normally, I'd be asking 8,000 gold pieces for this. He says, I could do 5,000.
Very interesting. Let me ask you something. Are you a betting man, Timothy, the
Better cap.
spider man?
I'm an Ettercap. I'm not really. Why?
Because I thought it might be interesting to to make a wager for this item, just to make it interesting.
I don't know about that. I mean, I guess, what did you have in mind?
Well,
I bet you this dog can talk.
yeah.
Go ahead.
We flip a coin, and if it lands with what you decide, I'll let you pick first. I will pay you your original 8,000 gold. But if it lands on the side I pick, I'll pay you 200 gold, and I'll play you the best song you've ever heard in your life. The only stipulation is that we have to use one of my coins.
Make a persuasion roll.
Why this is happening? Can I also make a suggestion? Not trying to interpede, and like not trying to, but just saying, being like, we could also do that as well, though. As I look around and being like, how many customers do you say actually come by this place? Have you been well off lately?
He's like, not a lot.
Not a lot. Okay, no, look, buddy, that's fine. That's fine. Look, I'm not a man of much coin myself, but I saw your wares, and I wanted to come in here and see. Now, just saying that, I saw your lovely picture out front, like I said. What about this? Me and my man here, we're strong individuals. Obviously, look at us. We are going to be into these fighting pits later. What if I take your logo and put it on myself to wear during the match to get yourself business in which I guarantee you we will win. And I will tell you right now that if we do not, we will give you your money back doubled and the wand. You give us the wand. I advertise you.
He steeples 4 different sets of little fingers. He puts his spider hands together. Bram, make your persuasion roll.
I can see the clicking just.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use my DM inspiration as well.
Okay.
Which is what? DM inspiration is what?
Advantage. You get to roll again.
Advantage.
Yeah. Hey man, I hope that was...
Natural 20 makes me 28.
Okay, alright.
Look,
God damn, okay, alright.
It was a 15 before, but...
Look,
Okay.
I'll still wear it as
Alright,
advertising.
so with a nat, only because you rolled a nat 20, here's what he's gonna do. He goes, okay. He says, a 50-50 bet to get a fair price for this item, or to possibly get 200 gold, even with the other sweetenings of the pot, is a little crazy. But I think we can reach an accord. It just so happens that there's a little something I could use some help with. And if you guys were willing to help me, for your help,
Burn up to kill a guy.
and this is for your help.
You need whacked.
Your help, your endorsement in the arena of my shop, and the 200 gold, I would be willing to part with my rod if you were to do a favor as well. He says, like I said, I'm a lover of music. Recently, I got another pretty cool item into my shop, a flute. Turned out it was magical, and I did not realize that. I just thought it was a neat flute. And, well, I used it to take part in a what I thought was going to be a pretty rockin' jam session with an orcish banjo player who frequents one of the taverns nearby. He didn't exactly invite me to jam with him, but I did figure that when he heard my cool flute playing, he would be into it. It turns out that the flute is magic. And I did accidentally turn the orcish banjo player into a capybara.
Ooh, that's a little rough, bud. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Already have spell magic.
the proprietor of the tavern where he regularly plays is pretty mad that his main banjo player is a capybara. And also, he did get away, and he's somewhere in the city, and I don't know where he is.
Sounded like he could have really used this wand, right?
Maybe. He says, I'm pretty sure with the flute I can turn him back into a guy instead of a capybara, but I need somebody to find him and catch him and bring him back here.
Question, how many capybaras are around here?
I don't know the answer to that.
Great. Awesome. That's
You have to do a
what I
scrying for capybaras.
expect. That's what I was expecting.
I don't know. You could go.
Oh no,
you could go.
it's the capybara festival. God
Is it,
damn.
you could probably go to Melvin's Marvelous Menagerie and ask Melvin. He
Great.
points to like where you the direction where you saw that like shop with the cages. He probably's got the
That's right.
capybara
He's recently acquired
info
the
that you
capybara.
crave.
Cool.
I don't know about that, but if anybody knows capybara facts, it's probably him.
All right.
If you can bring that capybara back to me, I will trade you the rod for that favor and the 200 gold, and emblazoning the awkward Ettercaps logo on your person when you go and be strong boys in the arena. And he flexes like he makes like flexing gestures, but he has like chitinous spider legs, which absolutely have no muscles on them because they're like arthropod legs. He's just like doing this with his like
unsettling
creepy legs.
It's like, please don't do that. Don't do that.
It's like nails on a chalkboard. Oh.
Bram, what do you think? That sounds good. I think.
Yeah,
that's
so
fair,
we
fair
don't
enough
you
enough.
don't we don't like we don't have to worry about the wager. You're just gonna if we do that, you good.
If you do that favor for me, for 200 golds, I'll trade you this rod.
All right.
I feel like we both take a hand. Both take a hand of his, like each arm, so like shakes it, like
He takes both
Thank
of
you.
your hands.
We shake all like each of us do
Yeah,
four.
like you guys like
Let's do
shake
four.
a lot of hands for like a really long time.
Dr. Steinberg, another Dr. Steinberg.
Yeah,
Dr. Steinberg, another Dr. Steinberg.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alrighty, you guys.
Making
The
deals.
one magical item I snuck in here, I ended up not even have to use.
We made a deal with a Spider-Man to find a capybara.
Spider-Man, what did you do?
Okay, I think we'll revisit you guys later as
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
there is
That's the next
like
session thing.
there is stuff here that like I don't want everybody locked out of as we go forward. So like you
Yeah,
guys talk to
no, I
Timothy.
want everybody to-
Timothy the Ettercat.
Everybody's got to get the spider tattoo, obviously.
Yeah.
No, and they can find the capybara on their own.
I'm good on the tattoos, man.
Let's go over to Zintris.
I'll just get the tramp stamp.
That's where Oz gets his,
Wait.
Canonically, a tramp stamp.
with the 8 legs branching out over his haunches.
So, Zintris, you are sort of just wandering around. You kind of wander around, and you're sticking like within the Arcos. Yeah, and specifically, like you kind of sort of meander to where like you see those children are sort of like running around and playing. Are you? Are you approaching the children?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to, like, as I see them playing and, like, I keep an eye on them, but, like, more for my own amusement because it's just been a hard couple months. I'll start to, like, with prestidigitation, I just do, like, some, like, musical notes and stuff in the air.
Okay.
Just sound and little sparklers and just kind of like floating images of like fun stuff as I walk, but like randomly. So like not that they could figure out where it's
Okay.
coming from, but like just to see if it amuses them and catches their attention. I'm not
I
trying to actually draw attention to myself.
Okay.
It's just more for like
I think I'm
the
gonna
joy
make...
of something innocent after this
Sure.
hellhole.
Okay, so here's how I think this plays out. You're kind of doing this. You definitely notice that, like, whatever this game that these kids are playing, which it seems to be some sort of a, like, make-believe game where, like, they have... they've like divided themselves into like 2 teams, and one team is a team of like 4 children who like seem to be like working together, and they seem to be like they keep like changing locations around the area, and like the other group of children seem to be like taking on the roles of like an adversarial position. And you see that they keep engaging in like mock battles. And then like you kind of get the sense as you're doing this, like they are, you sort of realize like they're like playing out a narrative in which like this group of 4 children is like progressing through whatever like story that they are like concocting amongst themselves, and like the other group of children are like monsters and like wild beasts and things like that. And you notice that they are definitely like eyeing you kind of subtly at first and then not so subtly. and eventually, like, this group of 4, like, huddles up, and then 3 of them, like, push one towards you, who's like, and then comes up to you. It's a little girl. She can't be more than like 9, 10. She looks like she's probably got like a little bit of like orcish heritage somewhere. She has a very faint greenish cast to some of her skin, and just like the slightest protrusion of like a kind of an underbite with a little bit of like very subtle tusks. And she says, first she says to you in what you take to be Orcish something. Do you understand Orcish? Okay. So she says something to you in Orcish that you don't understand, and when she sees that you like kind of don't know what she said, she switches to Common, and she says, "Excuse me, ma'am. We saw you come in before." She says, "You're an adventurer, aren't you?"
I nod and smile at her and just say, "I am."
She says, and one of the, she like looks back and one of them's like, ask.
I smile at her.
She's like, I am asking.
I get like, I'm not super tall, but I'm taller than this child, so I kind of crouch in a little further. I'm like, you can ask anything you want. It's okay.
She says, well, we're playing Relic Hunter, and everybody knows that you need 5 in your relic hunting group, and there's only 4 of us because Korak is sick and his mom won't let him come out and play today. And we were wondering if you would be our 5th adventurer so that we have a full relic hunting party.
I smile and I go, okay, but who's the leader? There's always a leader in every relic hunting party.
She looks back at the others and she's like, well, they made me come talk to you, so I think I get to be the leader.
It's you. And I smile and I walk over with her to the group, and I will fall in line with whatever game and rules they play for a while until I notice if Yegraine gets up. But for now,
okay.
I'm just having fun with just like a moment of nothing serious, even if they are touching on like adventuring. But for me, it's like
okay. So you kind of like dive into their game, and you sort of what you discover. So the 3, or rather the 4 other children they're the 4th children in the relic hunting party that you have now become the 5th of. The young orcish girl is named Akka. There is a boy named Zev, who is human, so far as you can tell. There is a half-elven boy named Bosch, and there is a what you gauge to be a full-blooded orc boy by the name of Tornak. And they are like moving around the square, and like the other half of like their group of friends are like, they keep like they'll move out to a spot ahead and they'll set up, and then they'll like the kids will come over, and there doesn't seem to be much rhyme or reason to which like they will go, and like somebody decides like, we're breaking into the tomb, and then like a bunch of children will jump out and they'll be like, we're mummies, and then they're like, bleh. And they will then like have a adventure on mummy sword fight for some reason with like sticks, and some of them have decided that they can cast magic. So there is Bosch is like fireball, lightning bolt.
The first time Bosch has fireball, I send up little sparks behind him, and then I.
They're like, yes. They're so pumped.
Lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
Like, just to add some fun, and when the mummy kids come, I make like growly noises in the air. Like I make it more
So
like
cute.
yeah. This is all fun for me at this point.
You eventually end up. I thought Russell just took his cover off. You eventually end up. You find out that like sort of the lead kid of like the bad guys is like set up down like a little bit of an alleyway. They have hauled like a rocking chair from somewhere, and like as they come into the alleyway, like this kid who's maybe a little bit older than the others is like sitting in it with his hands steepled, and he's like, well, you finally made it, but alas, you'll never defeat me and take my treasure. And he like turns, and you see that like set on like a crate behind him is like a tart. And immediately like battle breaks out between like your adventuring party and these other children, and you do battle, and eventually this older boy he like falls beneath the onslaught of the adventurers. It's like, yeah, you've defeated me, but I'll return, man. And he like shrivels away, and everybody laughs. And he goes, and he has like a little pack behind the crate where he actually turns out he has like several other of these little like tarts, and all of them get like distributed to all of the children. He offers the last one he offers to you, and he says, "It's nice to meet you, ma'am. My name is Garrick. He says, these are some of the kids here in the neighborhood. It was really nice of you to play with us today."
Thank you guys for letting me play. It's been a while since I've had just fun. And I eat the tart and just kind of smile and let them all keep rebel rousing a bit, but I'm just kind of hanging and smiling.
So you sort of hang for a bit. Some of them, like, it is getting late. Like some of them like wander off home, called by parents and things like that. Eventually, you do kind of like look back, and you see that Lady Viren is like sitting on the step in front of that little house, like sort of watching you do your thing. So you like bid your adieu to the remaining children. They sort of like wave you away, with and tell you like that you're allowed to be in their relic hunter party anytime you want to be in the future.
Set off sparks behind Bosch one more time.
Yes.
And then I go to Yegraine.
You go over, and she kind of smiles at you, and she says, "I do believe that you got more out of that than they did."
I'm sure I did. It's probably the closest to anything fun since before I was younger than them. Good.
She just kind of looks at you. She's like, seems to be waiting. Like, you get the sense like she's gonna let like whatever you need to say. She's like waiting for it.
I sit beside her on like the little steps. I'm not even looking at her. And I just kind of stare off as the kids run away. I don't know where to start with this. I'm happy to see you, and I'm so mad at you, and I also can't blame you because you tried to leave them. And I hope you didn't know what you were actually doing, but Aelar isn't wrong. that what they were doing was awful. I'm sure you knew part of it. And it's the same thing as all sides say in every war. If you think you're on the right side, that's all you need to know.
She nods. She's... Go ahead.
I know that when I first started working for you, I had obviously no clue who I was really working for. But then everything changed, and I started to learn, and you started to back away from them. And now I'm caught up in this race against the apocalypse, and this isn't what any of us asked for, but I don't know where I fit in this. I don't know if my place is with you, it's with them, if it's somewhere else entirely, and I hate every second of this. Because I don't know anymore.
And she says... I could spend a lot of time justifying the way that the Brotherhood can be very seductive and can turn what we would all like to believe are the best of intentions rotten to the core. I could make excuses that for a very long time I thought all of it was for a greater good, to help people. But I don't know if that's true anymore, because at some point along the line, doing good becomes doing good at any cost. There was a time, a very long time, that they had me, heart and soul. I believed in what they were doing. This confusion that you're feeling now, it had me in its grasp for a very long time. It's very hard to come to terms with the fact that you might be the villain. I have had enough time to make peace with that for myself. I certainly hope in whatever cosmic balancing of the scales there might come at the end of all of this, the fact that I realized how far I had fallen, and I realized that what the Brotherhood is trying to do is wrong. I hope that will matter. But part of me will always believe that the fact that it took learning the truth, learning the true toll that the Brotherhood, seeing their goals through to the end, would take, learning that it was all a lie and all they will do is end everything. It shouldn't take that long to realize that you're not on the right side. All of the 1,000 little evils weren't enough. I saw the light eventually, and hopefully that counts for something. But I didn't see the light soon enough, and there is nothing that will change that. I don't want you to throw your life away following me any further. You freed me from the Esselgath, and perhaps that was a freeing in order to exchange for a different prison, and if that is the case, that is fate I am happy to submit to. I do believe that I deserve to be locked away somewhere for the rest of my days, to atone for the things that I helped bring about. I just hope that I'm able to facilitate an undoing of enough of that the Brotherhood cannot succeed. I won't tell you what to do, but I think if you want, your part in all of this is done. You are under no obligation to stay with these people, any more than you are to stay with me. I think if you want to go and live your own life, I think you can. If you want to stay with these people and fight a battle that no one has any right to ask you to fight, you can do that too. She kind of shakes her head and says, I don't think you should come be in jail with me forever. You don't deserve that.
There may have been some, what the group lovingly refers to as war crimes while you were locked away. Was it against the Ignians or the Brotherhood? Maybe, but still. I'm not clean of anything either. And I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. Wouldn't have made a block without what you taught me. I think I need information and answers to make a decision, and I don't know where I'll get those. I think as long as you're not punished unfairly, I can live with whatever happens with you. You're right. Punishment is owed. Just not in that hellscape where we found you.
She sort of shrugs a shoulder. She says, so long as I am able to use what I know to stand against the Brotherhood, keep them from completing their goals, it doesn't matter what happens beyond that. And I think we have achieved that. Whatever happens to me after this, if nothing else, those chuckleheads will get that device from the capital city, and that may be all they need. If nothing but having set them on that path, I've done what I needed to. I hope I can be of more use, but if I can't, then I'll have to live with that being enough.
Guess we all have to define what's good enough for each of us. Because either we save the world or it explodes. Yeah?
Well, if it explodes, I suppose none of us will have to worry about much of anything. I'd rather it didn't, though.
I look over at the last kids walking away. So they have a dragon. And they have a machine that lets them see a bunch of options. And we just have ourselves breaking into the Emperor's palace to steal that back.
They have a set of instructions and a head start. Yes, you need to break into the Emperor's palace, but get yourself the instructions and you're on even playing ground with them. You'll know what to do, and then it's just a matter of stopping them.
I think we could all use a big drink.
I have the sneaking suspicion that when the other four return, that will be well in order.
I just nod and go quiet.
And she kind of gets up and follows you in, and sort of we pan away from the front of this building, and we sort of zoom back out over the street, so we see that Aelar and Walter are kind of returning from around the base of the mesa here, as Bram and Zresa come down the spiraling staircase. Interesting adventures of the day to share one and all, returning on your domicile here as the sun dips below the horizon of the valley in which Zresa sits.
The capybara coos in the middle of the night.
And yes, and we zoom out and we go to the very peak of the highest point of the mountain. We see one of these winged creatures flies past with a rider on its back near the eyrie where they are roosted, and at the very top we see a capybara lifts its silhouette into the moonlight. And sniffs the air and makes a capybara noise, whatever that might be.
Whatever that is.
And with that, we end our session for the night.
That's great. That's a perfect ending. What a day! What a day!
What a day! Oh goodness. What'd you guys do today? We met Spider-Man and we have to find a capybara.
What'd you do?
Totally important.
Walter had another near-death experience.
Walter drowned himself in a pool.
I cleaned a statue and Walter got wet.
I got to play Relic Hunters, make friends with cool kids.
as one would.
Bosch is a 9th level wizard. You don't even know. All right.
Yeah,
well,
I'm aligning myself poorly until he turns into Torian in 20 years.
Oh yeah, that's a secret. That's the secret of the whole thing. These children are all of you in the future or in the past.
Oh.
No, so that is the end of our session. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you to our sponsors, Love Dragon Carbon Carver Castle, and as always, make sure you follow and like and subscribe and do all the things. Find us proficiency bonus on all the various platforms. Be sure to check out all of the other streams that we run here many different days of the week, both here on Twitch and over on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel right here, Proficiency Bonus at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night.